Stopped by Rebecca Newton's studio on the way.
And so, Spencer, so great to see you. We saw you last fall at Centerfest. You said you were going to travel the world. You did, and we're going to hear all about that here in a little bit. But first, we want to jump in and have you share some music with us.
Thank you. Here at the end of the world, I'm on the edge of my seat. My boat is in shambles, burned planks and brambles, a future I may never meet. I'm all the way in, there's no turning back. I'm betting on what I can't see. I've given up comfort and touch for a time while I sail my poor boat to the sea. The days are lifelines I seize hold. I hold on with all I've tried other ways and I've made other plays. I've crawled and I've walked till I ran. It hurts like fire to withhold from my soul the satisfaction she seeks. I'm digging a ditch to dig out of a hole, and the sweat runs like blood down my cheeks. My friends will say you're being hard on yourself. You're fine just the way that you are. But a man who won't carry his boat to the stream is a man who will never go far. The days are lifelines I seize hold. I hold on with all that I am. I've tried other ways and I've made other plays. I crawled and I walked till I ran. Here at the end of the world, I'm on the edge of my seat.
Yes, totally worth the wait.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Spencer Scholes live here on Pass the Hat. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Spencer, it's so we've been, thanks to Facebook, been following your travels around Europe and Central Europe and Eastern Europe and all over the place. And Wanderlust, is that what we call it?
That's a good name for it, I guess.
So encapsulate what
I'm a very lustful guy.
what caused you to go on this adventure, and what new things did you encounter in 5 minutes or less when you got over there?
Yeah, I think it would start way back. I've been traveling my whole life, and when I was a kid living in the States, I stumbled on these things called these strange gatherings in the woods called rainbow gatherings, and just totally accidentally stumbled on them when I was a teenager in California, and then it's like it's a whole thing. There's like all these people that for some reason they get together in the woods and they build kitchens and
A whole city.
Whole
Everything
city.
you need, transportation,
Yep.
medical, everything you need,
Yes.
self-contained in the woods.
Absolutely, in the woods. Yeah.
They used to call that Hooverville in the Great Depression, but this
Yeah.
sounds a little
Yes.
more fanciful. And
Yeah.
so, did you have a guitar when you were traveling around?
I did. My good friends Drew and Cece. At the end of 21, I was about to go drive tractor trailers. So the first 6 months of last year, I lived in a truck, and I was running out of Salt Lake City. But for 6 months, I didn't have a day off and no break. And they knew I was going to do that, and they bought me a Martin backpacker guitar.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. They gave that to me for a birthday, Christmas present, and I carried that with me around the States. And so I did that while trucking, and then I saved up enough while trucking, and I knew I've always wanted to go overseas. I've been really interested in Turkey. I've been really interested in Europe my whole life. So there's a lot. There's a lot to the answer. I think there's just a lot there.
So the backpacker fits in the overhead bin?
It does. A lot of times I would travel without it in the case. I would just carry it over my shoulder right onto the plane and just throw it up in the overhead bin.
Well, we'll hear a lot more about this in a minute, but we're mainly here to hear your fine music, which we have admired for over a decade
long
now.
time.
Thank you so much.
And so if you'd be so kind.
Oh, my pleasure. I've been working on myself from the depths of the dark of the earth. I've been walking the cities alone. Strange sounds flutter to my ear. A mean wind is pushing me around. Spirit refuses to leave me alone. And I've been laughing at myself from the heat of the heart turning dry. I listen rapt for the beautiful birds, the birds that refuse to sing anymore. I dreamt in my sleep long ago everything that is happening now, and this is the only way I know through. These cries reach through the wall. The owls are hungry tonight. We are ghosts in a haunted world, all in our need, and we hardly will speak to one another. Do-do-do, 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 do-do-do. Trace a source back from the Nile. Make a single sleepwalker laugh. Take that job which scares you to death, maybe just to try to find something else. Read that book which rocks your world. Lay face down in the grass on the ground. Squint your eyes at the world's down there. I've been laughing at myself when there's no one else to get by. I've been singing to the door, the one which you walked out before. Gadgets get made and things go round. The whole thing is just as weird as can be. And I was sad and terrified. Now everybody knows. These cries reach through the walls. The devils are hungry tonight. We are ghosts in a haunted world, all in a heap, but we hardly will speak. Do-do-do, 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 do-do-do-da-da-da, do-do-do, do-do-do, do-do. These cries reach through the walls. The owls are hungry tonight. We are sticks in a matchbox world, stacked in a heap, but we hardly will speak.
More Spencer Scholes live here in the studio. Spencer, have mercy, you pack a lot into a song.
Thank you.
And Kirk Ridge was talking about following you on social media and enjoying the stuff you're doing out there. I enjoy your posts because they're poetic. And I can tell you've had time on your hands either trucking across the country somewhere or sitting in an airport somewhere where poetry just seemed to seep into you and then out of you into your posts.
Thank you.
You write good stuff, and it's
Thanks, Bob.
coming through in your music, too.
Thank you very much.
Spencer, we know that some of your special material is available just out on the Patron site, which we want to have everybody you support Spencer with this
Absolutely.
because it's some fabulous material. So how do people find that, and what do they do, and how do they support you?
It takes just a minute to sign up. I think you have to build a little profile, which allows you to follow multiple people on Patreon. And it's www.patreon.com/SKOLZ.
Scholes.
Scholes, a rough phonetic spelling of my last name.
So on these travels, did you run into any local indigenous kind of music, or it's just
I did.
tell us a little bit about that?
It was phenomenal. In Turkey, it was mostly like indigenous music, local music. I ran into music from all over the world. So I heard about this gathering that was happening in Turkey, and I was like, well, I've always wanted to go overseas. Let me go there and meet people from all over the world. I did just that. I met people from Spain, from Portugal, from South Korea, Japan, all over South and Central America, all over Europe and Africa, Asia. It was incredible. And there was a lot of Sufi musicians there. There was a lot of Turkish music. My first day in Turkey, I went walking around the city of Antalya, off the beaten path, and found a music shop and went in, and it was this elderly man and his grandson, and I used Google Translate to ask if I could play with the elderly gentleman, and so we sat down and we played. I recorded it on my phone. It's on a Patreon page. I shared it on there. So I would just record things in my voice memos. I met other Turkish musicians in the city of Eskişehir that I played with on the street. It was excellent. And the scales, for some reason, feel really natural to me. It felt really easy to be able to sit in with people there and listen to them. There was a familiarity with like old-time music where it's very melody specific. So I could just find the progression, and just like really support that way.
Right.
So have you found that this is influencing the music you write? I know it's probably deep inside you and will kind of bubble up at some point.
Yeah, I think so. I wrote a song a week from like maybe July of 2021 to like August of last year. So I wrote over 54 songs before I left, and I didn't do a lot of writing when I was over there. I would do some extemporaneous creating stuff, but yeah, absolutely. But I found that when I was trucking, I was writing some stuff that incorporated some of those scales.
You mentioned using Google Translate to be able to talk to the folks in Turkey playing and ask if you can play along.
Yeah.
And that just struck a nerve with me that the technology we have these days is amazing at bringing people together.
Yeah.
And I know when you're traveling, you rely a lot on your phone.
Yes.
Not just to be able to use Google Translate to be able to communicate with people, but I'm sure you're also recording ideas for songs, or recording new songs, and you have this wonderful little pocket computer that you can store stuff in.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to emphasize that because so many of my boomer friends are always, kids these days are always looking down at their phones and not actually doing anything. Well, these are amazing tools.
Yeah.
And you would have had a hard time doing any of this without that tool with you.
I mean, it's an excellent camera. An excellent camera. I could video just riding on the train, create music in a hostel, pair it with the video, and upload a music video in less than an hour.
Just like that. Yeah.
When I was driving trucks, I was doing the same thing. I'd go for a walk in the morning before I'd take off, and maybe in the desert in New Mexico, for example, I'd go for a walk, after writing some lyrics, I'd record the walk, take it back, play something, and pair it, and under an hour I was able to post a song.
Those are some of my favorite social media posts of musicians. They just say, "Hey, I just made this video," and it's them walking out into the woods or walking out into wherever, and you can see them set the phone down on a rock or on a tripod or whatever, and then they walk out in front of it and play music and come back, and it's very real, it's very intimate, and very in the moment. It makes a connection that it's difficult to make otherwise.
I love it. It's like there's so many people sharing around here, and I'm just like blown away. I was like, that is so good,
Right?
And I get to see it in real time and like multiple people per day. It is an astonishing tool, and for connecting. Like I would never have been able to talk with people in Turkey. The language barrier's total, and like I would be slow to learn a language. I would have to live there and like study it.
Everybody, this is WHUP LP Hillsboro, and you will see on Spencer's table a little box, and that is from our second hour sponsor. And Bob, tell us about
Hold that
this.
up, Spencer. We do have a second hour sponsor. Support for the second hour of Past the Hat is sweetly sponsored by Matthews Chocolates, 104 North Churton Street, Hillsboro, North Carolina, the finest in chocolate and chocolate accessories for all of your chocolate needs. And let's face it, you have chocolate needs. Yeah. Spencer is being an excellent model.
Yes.
And if you're in Turkey, you cannot get this. Well, and Matthew probably would ship it to you.
You pay the shipping. Yeah. Every guest on Pass the Hat gets a chocolate gift from Matthews. So there is your box of chocolate from Matthews.
Thank you, Matthews, so much. This is awesome.
Well, Spencer, time for some more music.
Yes, please. So this one I did write when I was trucking in the desert in New Mexico. Everybody's talking about how you're happy. Everybody's crowing out they are so free. From the lowest servant to the lords of empire, everybody says be who you want to be. But in the garden of secret hearts, the vines have overrun. Poison nettle stuns, earth shudders from the cold, waiting for the sun. From hilltop and valley, farm and city, people stand in line to say they've had enough. Who is taking pride in any work so petty? Who here can believe that life could be so rough? The seeds planted in the cold dark for mighty trees at last. Something ended has just begun, pushes blindly upwards, waiting for the sun. The paths were laid long before these eyes were made. The patterns established before we arrived. No one can own it, and it cannot be bought. You cannot take hold of the wood. Trapped in towers, the shivering flowers dream away the hours, waiting for the sun. Everybody's talking about how you're happy. Everybody's crowing how we are so free to remake the world in our favorite image. And many love the fruits and yet they hate the tree. garden of secret hearts, there flows a quiet stream. It's peaceful there when the world has none. Come sit beside the water, waiting for the sun. Waiting for the sun.
Kirk and I are nodding at each other. You talk. No, you talk.
We're
'cause
used to Kim. This is Kim's time.
This is
to
Kim's
talk.
time to chime in. Because this is the poet's moment, because that song was just poetic. And I don't know where to go from there. You've played us a few songs, 3 songs I think so far, and they just keep getting better and better. And like I said after the previous song, is you pack a lot of stuff into a song, a lot of imagery and a lot of stuff that makes the listener think. It's not just you're not just singing us a bro country song. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Oh, my pleasure.
Spencer, we know you've done some recording in the past. Is that music available out there in the typical places?
It is, yeah, the typical places. I've recorded 5 albums worth of material and only released 1, and not very proud of it. I'd have to give a disclaimer before I'd share it with somebody, but it is out there. It's under Spencer Scholes. Dragonfly Season is the name of the album. I've just found that going into a studio requires a little preparation.
Surprise.
Yeah, surprise.
But I think I read that you might be dipping your toe in
Uh-oh.
Yes.
studio water. So where's that going to be, or is it a secret?
Well, there's more to come, but I have talked with Dylan Alexander Turner. I'm not sure if he plays with Heat Preacher. I think he.
Oh, that might be right across the street.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure if he plays with Heat Preacher, but that would be awesome. But no, he's a phenomenal musician and local musician and studio producer, and so I've talked with him about just recording a song, like instead of trying to go do a whole album project.
That's a good call.
Thank you. Yeah, just do
Well,
one.
saw you hanging out with Emily Mussolino.
Yes,
and
she's an excellent producer too.
and she has a studio there herself.
Yes, I've talked with her as well. So
Blue Moose.
Blue
Blue
Moose
Moose,
Studios. Yeah.
There's also Big Fish, Small Pond down in Chatham County, which might be a good fit also.
Nice.
Remind me, and I'll connect you with Kirk.
Yeah,
Sterling.
Kirk Sterling.
And then there's Good Luck Studios. There's FJ Ventre
And John Shane.
And John Shane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you would have to sell Rebecca Newton's Martin
Yeah.
if you want to go.
but to have
some of
John
these
Shane play
places-
on a song or FJ play some bass,
that's right. It's worth it.
that'd be
So,
Sorry about your guitar, Rebecca.
I thought I noticed that. And didn't she say it was not gumbo? What was that wood?
I don't know. It was like broccoli or something that we did not expect to be a guitar tone wood.
Mango. It
Mango,
is
that's
mango.
right.
It's a mango.
Yeah.
The back of it's mango.
Holy cow.
I know. Jeez.
Totally
And
unexpected,
it sounds
but
wonderful.
it does. It sounds great.
Spencer, any gigs planned? People can catch you.
Don't have anything yet, but there is something in the works to play. Haven't decided completely on a venue. Maybe at the Cradle Back Room. People have suggested House.
Oh yeah.
So I haven't anything settled, but hopefully by the end of April or early May.
Well,
one
if
good
you're
show.
around in June, I have something for you across the street.
Okay.
So let's
All right.
connect. I'll message you and we'll talk about that.
Do it.
Yeah.
Say
You'll
yes.
enjoy that. Yonder is a great place.
Yeah, thank you.
But everybody, you don't need to go wandering around wondering where Spencer's playing next, because he's playing next right here, right now.
Right here in front of us, and right here in front of you. If you're looking at your computer at the live stream, if you're not looking at the live stream, find it at WHUP Pass the Hat, WHUP Pass the Hat, on your favorite streaming services, which are Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
And it'll be archived out there. You don't need to, if you can't do it right now,
You can find
go
it
out
later.
there
Yeah.
later.
I hear them talkers saying what they say. They don't know a thing about you anyway. Some folk will show off to fit in. I haven't gone and lost my appetite. Still think about you nearly every night. And in the space between, down by the river I converse with the wind. She runs around and comes right back again. I have not seen you for some time. I go to sleep and wake up all alone, starting to forget I even own a foe. Well, it hurts at times, but I have what I need. It can be hard sometimes to face myself, but I don't even wish that I were somewhere else. I love this life anyway. Down by the river, if you feel perplexed, try using muscles that you have not flexed, and make your life begin. I hear them talkers, but I'm not convinced. You see that they don't have all of the evidence. And we all have a lot to learn. It can be a challenge just to be aware, surrounded by some people who are unable to care. We all must walk to the grave. Down by the river, if you feel perplexed, try using muscles that you have not flexed, and make your life begin. And make your life begin. And make your life begin.
I love that sentiment. May your life begin.
Got some pick in there.
I was thinking that during that entire song, Spencer, it's been a couple of years since I've really paid attention to you playing guitar, but it seems to me, I mean, you were good back then. You are great now. You must.
Thank you so much.
Where do you find the time to put in all the practice?
I don't. Lately, I took a week off of work to prepare for the studio time, hence the comment about not being prepared before. And if I can warm up, which I'm not warmed up now, I'm actually doing really poorly. I'm actually really
Not that we can tell.
Thank you. But yeah, if I can be warmed up, then I can do really. I feel better if I can warm up.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, but yeah, I rarely find the time. Like anybody, like how can you possibly do that and still?
So many things pulling on our time that it's hard to do all the things we want to do.
Yeah, so I'm in a really unique position. I mean, and, I don't have a place of my own, and like don't have a lot of money, and I just went to Europe and I did the whole trucking thing or whatever. It's like I'm in a weird kind of lifestyle area, perhaps, but it's like I just want to use it the best. I want to show up for it the best I can, and like for me, it's like, okay, I have an offering, I have a small gift to offer. Like I want to offer it as good as I possibly can. I want to do justice by justice isn't the best word, but I really want to do right by the songs and the music as much as I can. It's not about me or like, oh, look at me, but like I really want to deliver the songs in the best possible way.
Well, it shows because you are. And so in homage to those songs, is it because there's a story that needs to be told, because there's a message that needs to be gotten across?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it feels like, if a person has something and you're honest and you're vulnerable about it, then it opens up a space for people to feel their own self and their own stuff. And if you're showing off and you're doing a thing, that's cool too. If you're
Yeah.
creating something else, that's cool. But for me, it's like, yeah, it's medicine. It's like the job is to open up a space where other people can feel themselves because you're doing the work to move stuff that needs to move yourself.
I totally get it. People very much enjoyed watching, Jimi Hendrix light his guitar on fire,
Yeah.
which is much more show than it is what you're talking about. And people also enjoyed Robert Johnson's blues because they opened up that emotional space and gave them a place to, I don't know, be inside themselves briefly.
Yeah. It's amazing. Music's so incredible because there's no barrier to entry. Like anybody can pick up an instrument and create and express something that anyone can feel, and it can feel good and sound good. It's awesome like that. But then for me, it's also like, okay, well, if you have something come through and you have this offering, like, why not being devoted to doing the best you can?
Yeah,
and
give it all you can.
give it all you can, and yeah, I don't feel good unless I'm doing that to some degree.
Can you do
Well,
it again?
You're giving it all you can tonight. We're really thoroughly enjoying this. And what do you have for us next?
All right, this one. This is another one I wrote it came through when I was trucking last year. When I woke up early today, the sun lay flat asleep 1,000,000 miles away. I whispered to the purple sky with rainbows in his hand. Listen to soft breezes blow sweet dreams over the land. And I dreamt of you amid the colors from blue to gray. And birds followed too, sang from the meadows, and I could hear them say, you are not your mind. You're not that chatter running all the time. So your thoughts are the same. They can't define you. They're not your name. Go release them again. Come look inside, child. Come look within. As the dreams we met took shape, toward me limped the armies of my own mistakes. These I can't deny, like salt in my eye, come to my heart to stay. And my goals frustrate, I am so late. What message do they bring? You are not your mind. You're not that chatter running all the time. So your thoughts are the same. They can't define you. They're not your name. Go release them again. Come look inside, child. Come look within. Who reminds you now? Who reminds you now?
sir.
Spencer Scholes, a really interesting song in a lot of ways. Spencer, you've shared with us kind of the stimulus for what might inspire you to write a song, your travels, things like that. But once you get a song going and you're in the middle of it, does it come together rather quickly, or is there a process?
Yeah, both. There's some songs that seem to come out just fully formed, like with legs. They're like children. It's like some come through and they're not quite formed yet. You don't know if they're gonna
Take a lot of
walk
work.
or talk. Yeah, it's like, but there's always like a sense of what the song is. Like there's some sort of feeling about it, and then for me the process would be like the first part is like something automatic. It just comes through. Blurt it out. I don't try to make it anything. I don't try to make it go in any direction. I don't try to make it mean anything. It's just maybe play and sing some gibberish, and I'll feel something, and then I'll go back and listen to it. And when I listen to it, they start to talk, and some of them will start to clamor for attention and be like, "Hey, actually, this line here doesn't belong," or this. This format or whatever, it needs to shift. There's something that needs to change, and every time I sit with a song, it'll start to develop and change like that. And some of them take a long time, and some of them just like really fast.
We have so many people coming in here when they're that they're not trusting of the process. I guess when they either they're writing to a prompt and they just have to write it right now, or they're pushing themselves. But that keeping or it's almost a semi-conscious state you're in. It's keeping your hands out of it, trusting the time you have here with the song, and kind of watching it or listening to it, and let it lead you where it will. That's I think really wise.
Thank you. Yeah, I've heard. Like a lot of writers, like really well-known writers, I've heard them all say the same thing. It's like you don't try to shape it, don't try to make it mean what you want it to mean. It just let it come through. There is a part to it that just seems really automatic, like they come from another world. And
I like the message there that some songs come fast, some songs come slow, and you just got to let them either come fast or slow, and don't be too overly frustrated with the slow ones, because the slow ones will still end up being good songs too. It just in their time.
Yeah.
So don't force it. Don't throw it away. And you brought us some fantastic songs.
That being said, we want another song right now, and we don't.
Yes, please. Yeah. Starlight flies millions of miles to fall at last into the warm glass surface of your eyes, so that you might see. You may find this is an old rewind from whom you once were when the world was young in time. Now that you may rise, oh, we've lost along the way. Please
Spencer Scholes live here in the studio. Spencer, there was something magical in the first verse of that song. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but I had to look up because I thought somebody was singing harmony with you.
Oh, wow.
And it was the guitar. Because of the way you were modulating your voice and the guitar strings were ringing out, it sounded magical. And then I started listening to the rest of the song, and that song had to be hard to sing.
Yeah,
It's all over the place, and it's all minor chords.
Yeah, I don't know how many keys are represented. I haven't really figured it out theory-wise, but there's more than one key there for sure. And it was an automatic thing. Like I went and sat down by a pond and was looking at the starlight and just pulled out my phone and pressed record and just played this thing. And then I went back to the house, and it was like the progression was kind of amorphous, but it was there. And then I just went over it, and it was just like, bam, the whole thing was just there in like one night.
And you and the guitar are following that same melody throughout the song, which gives it kind of this lilting, rolling kind of a feel to the song. But there's no way in the world I could sing it. Where did you learn how to sing? Is this just you listening to the world and singing?
When I was a kid, so I singing was it. Like I knew I wanted to do music and sing since I was in diapers. I'd walk around in the backyard, Springtime was a beautiful spring, and I'd walk around in my diaper and just like make these melodies up and sing them. I thought I was Mozart,
All right, you might have been.
Well, I don't. Yeah.
But North Carolina Boy Choir?
Yes. So I was in chorus in Parkwood Elementary School. Mrs. Keeley was the chorus teacher, and she really encouraged me to sing. I saw this movie for my birthday. We got to see one movie a year in a theater for our birthday, and I chose this movie. It was like The Rising Sun or something. It was some weird movie. It takes place in the concessions on the coast of China, like the international concession areas,
right.
Where international zones in the coast of China right before World War II broke out. And the lead character was this boy who was in this boys' choir, and I was like, that's what I want to do. Like, I want to sing like that. And so I don't know how that happened, but it did. And she got me an audition with the North Carolina Boys Choir, and I got in, and I toured with them every year for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So
wow, what a great memory, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was. I got to go all over the country and sing. Once or twice a day, would perform in all these different denominational buildings and churches for these people, and then the congregation or the audience would divide us up for the night. Like 2 kids would go here, 6 kids here. It's always 2x4 or something. Mm-hmm. And so I got to live in all these different houses briefly, and like all over the country, and just kind of see how people lived. And the traveling thing and the music thing has been ubiquitous for me, like right on. So, I love to sing, and I'm really grateful. Bill Graham was he was the choir director. He probably still is, and he was one of those people that just level of musicality that it's like I can't even comprehend. Randy Guptill was my band teacher in middle school. Same. It's like you could hear everything in a symphony, everything in the room, and probably score it out in real time.
Right.
Like real Mozart type stuff. And it was a lot of learning by rote. So it was just like sing that note and you sing that note. So it wasn't like I didn't grasp a lot of the theory behind it until later,
but those harmonies must have built your ear too.
Yes, it does. Like the scales tune your ear, like your brain. Bird talks about it. Jonathan Bird, in one of his songs, "The Radio," he talks about when he performs it. Sometimes he'll talk about how your brain can recognize it's like up to 40,000 vibrations per second or something.
Right.
And if it's just a little bit off, you'll recognize it. So
that's Barry Gray would be the same way.
Yes. So if you don't sing the scales as a singer, then it can slip. And then I hear myself, like while I'm singing, I can hear when I go out of pitch. And so for me, I need to sit down and exercise that.
Well, totally. I can hear myself when I sing out of pitch. I can't fix it though. I know what it's supposed to sound like. I can't make it sound like that. You can.
They'll fix that in the studio for you, Bob.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Auto-tune.
All
Yeah.
the way. Yeah, it'll make you sound like Beyonce up in there.
Well, Spencer, we've got time for a couple more songs.
Okay, thanks. The birds they sing brightly, the ghosts they haunt me nightly. So many hearts who have loved me, so many hearts I'll seldom see. Once strong bonds are hard to part, those which reach unto the heart. And all we've created can be undone. We are different and we're one. We are different and we're one. Oh, we feel the rain. Oh, it's hard to complain. Whoa, well, it's understood. Life is hard and life is good. Many are the memories, they root and branch out like the trees. Unlike the trees, we don't stand still. On we run over the hill. On we run over the hill. Oh, we flee the rain. Oh, it's hard to complain. Oh, well, it's understood. Life is deep and life is good. Some folks live their lives at home, others seem consigned to roam. Many till the in-between, seldom heard and seldom seen. Seldom heard and seldom seen. Oh, we feel the rain. Oh, and we face our pain. Oh, let's understood. Life is hard and life is good. Oh, we flee the rain. Oh, well, we face our pain. Oh, it's understood. Life is deep and life is good.
More Spencer Scholes live here in the studio. I'm just having the best Friday night. This is a fantastic night of music.
Thank you so much.
Even though you tried to ruin the evening by showing up like
Yes.
3 minutes late. Totally
did.
unwarmed up. Spencer walks in, runs in from the parking lot, sweat dripping off of him, runs into the studio, sits down in the chair, and plays a song that just melts our faces. It's
I looked
It
out
doesn't even
and
warm up.
the semi truck that he double parked out there, it's still there.
It's still there. Yeah, it's blocking up the whole.
That's Hillsboro. They don't have anything they can tow it with.
Yeah.
Well, Spencer, it has been a sincere pleasure. We've got time enough for you to play us another song to play us out. And you can tell Rebecca thank you for the loan of the guitar, because
Thank you, Rebecca.
you've been doing that thing justice.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate y'all having me, and super glad to be here. This song, well, you'll know the name of it pretty shortly. I'd like to touch base on a topic which is very important to me. Something powerful in life and healing. She can help the blind to see. Gratitude. 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 Gratitude is not reliant on conditions within or without. Gratitude can welcome joy in these spaces of pain and doubt. Gratitude. 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 To nurture the seed, we simply name each thing, giving thanks no matter what it is. Gratitude is a gift divine. The profane cannot come close. Her cup contains the finest wine. A single sip can be a full dose. Gratitude. 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 Things go wrong. Sometimes we fall real far. It's not gonna be easy making it through. Give it a chance. We know it's best. This is something to help you make it through. Gratitude. 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 Gratitude.
Oh, man. Spencer Scholes live here on Pass the Hat. It has been a fantastic hour of live music with you, Spencer. We're reaching the point of the show. We're actually 10 minutes past the point of the show where we typically turn off the live stream and turn on your personal playlist. But before we go, can you remind people how to find you online and to give you a little bit of love to keep the music flowing? And by love, I mean money.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me. Yeah, please find me on social media, Spencer Scholes, Scholes. And my Patreon page is where I share all the new songs and the majority of my content, and that is Patreon, patreon.com/SKOLZ.
Scholes. Live stream, folks. We're going to say goodbye to the live stream. Wave goodbye, Spencer. I'm
Thanks.
clicking the button. I'm trying to click the button. Come on, where's the daggone button?
Thanks for tuning in, y'all.
Okay.